Welcome to our expert session, Best Practices for Translating PDFs. I'm Candace Chapman, Head of Marketing. Thank you so much for joining us today. I think you'll be glad that you did, and you'll come away with some key strategies to help you tackle even the most frustrating PDF files with confidence. We'll be guided by our product expert, Flor Russo, but you may know her as Flor. She's our amazing customer success manager here at Pairaphrase. And PDFs are one of the trickiest formats to understand and get right. Before we get right into it, I just have two notes. You can ask questions at any time by submitting them in the question box on the right, and we'll answer as many of them as we can after the presentation. We will be recording the session, and we'll send you a link to the video and to the presentation at the request of our earlier attendees. So you'll get that via email in case you missed anything or would like to pass any info along to your team. And that's it. So while most of you may know Flor, you may not know much about her background. So just let me tell you a little bit about her. She's a certified Spanish-English translator. She graduated from the National University of La Plata, Argentina. And she specializes in technical translation for the automotive, oil and gas, and technology sectors. A self-proclaimed tech enthusiast, her passion for technology began at age 15 with her first PC. Using a compact desktop Pro 386 computer and basic programming, she created her first computer-assisted dictionary, which combined her love of language and innovation. Since 2017, Flor has delivered courses and workshops on digital tools for translators, sharing practical insights with local and international audiences. She's served 3 years as president and is currently secretary of the board of the Association of Certified Translators of La Plata, where she also leads the committee on computer tools, promoting the effective integration of digital resources into translation workflows. Her work bridges language and technology, helping translators enhance both efficiency and quality through the smart use of digital tools. So we are so happy to have her on the team. Please welcome Flor.
Thank you. Hello.
Take it away.
Thank you very much, Candace. Thank you for your words. Okay, welcome everybody. It's a pleasure for me to be here. Today we are gonna talk a little about PDFs, which sometimes turn to be quite headache depending on the format and when it comes to the final layout. So the idea is to give you some tips and tricks and some insights about how Pairaphrase uses its features to help you get the most from your PDF files. So let's start. Before going further, I'd like to take a step back and talk about what a PDF actually is and why it can be tricky to translate. Maybe you know, maybe you don't, but PDF stands for Portable Document Format. It was designed to preserve the visual layout of a document, no matter what device or system you are using to view it. So it was built to display and print information, not to be edited or translated. So that's why when you try to work with a PDF in a translation environment, you often run into issues like uneditable text or fixed layouts or broken flow when language expands or contracts. So in most workflows, the PDF is the final version. It's a kind of a snapshot of a completed document. Then when we want to use it as a starting point for translation, we are in a way working backwards. You know, we are trying to extract and reconstruct content that wasn't designed to move. That's why we have some issues or difficulties or challenges that we will learn how to deal with. So today, we are gonna explore how to translate PDFs effectively using Pairaphrase, because PDFs can vary a lot in format or in layout, and this impacts translation quality and layout. We will look at how Pairaphrase handles different types of PDFs, what is and how OCR works, and how to identify and prepare files. Now, that's key because then you will be able to choose the best tool for editing and for layout preservation. So, PDF types explained. Let's take a closer look at the different types of PDFs you might encounter, because I think that understanding the type of PDF is key to knowing how to approach translation and file preparation. I will show you real examples right now of each type of PDF so you can learn to recognize them quickly. Let's move to the real examples. So let's dig directly into that. First of all, we have digital PDFs. Digital PDFs are created on a computer. Think of Word, Google Docs, InDesign exports, Illustrator. So the text is fully editable and searchable. And these are the easiest to translate accurately. And how will you identify these PDFs? If you try to select the text in the document, you will be able to select, copy and paste the document, for example. And if you click Edit in Adobe Acrobat, you will see that the text flows smoothly with no issues at all. So this is a digital PDF created on a computer. Then we have layered PDFs. A layered PDF is one that retains design layers. That is to say, text, images, and backgrounds, but as separate elements. So you can usually extract content cleanly, but layout can get tricky during translation. I will show you why. If you have a look at this, this is a digital layered PDF, and I will try to select the text. I can perfectly well, but look at what happens when I click Edit. If you pay attention, you will see that we have different layers. Yeah, one is the text, different images, all separated, and all those elements that are put together may complicate the translation process. So it is important to know this so as to select the right way to translate this type of PDFs. Later on, we will see how to better deal with them in Pairaphrase. Then we have scanned PDFs. Scanned PDFs are the challenge per se, because these are just pictures of pages. What we see as text is actually a photo of a text. You cannot select, look at this, if I want to select text, I cannot, as I did in the previous digital PDFs, I cannot select text. That means that to extract the text from here, we will need an OCR tool. In a minute, we will see what it is and how it works. Then we have OCR PDFs. That are PDFs that have been processed by an OCR, scanned PDFs, and that means that they have been converted into editable text, but the quality will depend on the quality of the original PDF and the ability of the OCR, how good the OCR was. So, for example, this is a scanned PDF, a scanned Word document that I can convert again into a PDF if I want. But if you pay attention, you will see that I have most of the text. I have some images that were extracted, but some of them were not. Yeah, this is an OCR document. Then we have flattened PDFs. In simple words, flattened PDFs are basically like glued together. So text, sometimes images and backgrounds are kind of fused. That means that you can't easily edit or extract anything. They need OCR too. This is an example of a flattened PDF. If I try to select the text here, I cannot do that. Flattened PDFs tend to come from Canva, for example. If you download a PDF from Canva, a design from Canva, you will get this type of PDFs. Another type that you may also know is an interactive PDF. An interactive PDF is one that includes fields to be filled in, buttons, clickable elements, etc. While these can sometimes be editable, it is most probably that you will lose the fields or the marked fields or the buttons when you translate these. Then we also have hybrid PDFs. Hybrid PDFs are a mix between digital and non-digital. So some of the parts will be editable, some will not. Look at this one. If I click edit on this one, I have some parts that are text. This is good, but some others are not, are images. So this is hybrid PDF. And finally, we may have protected or secured PDFs. Secure PDFs are maybe password protected or may have restrictions on copying, editing, printing. So you may need permission or to know how to unlock them before processing. This is an example. Look what happens when I click edit, when I try to edit this document. It says that it is protected, so I need to enter a password, or if I do not have a password, I will have to use an application to unlock that. This is the most common app. This is online. I love PDF. Used to unlock PDFs that are protected or that have passwords on them. So if you are confident that you can upload your file because of confidentiality matters, of course, you can always upload your PDF here and delete or remove the password protection. Okay, so let's move on. This is the list. I will share, as Candace said, I will share with you my presentation, so don't worry, you don't need to remember everything right now. You will have the content later on. It is really important to know your PDF type. It really matters, yeah, because as we've seen, not all PDFs are created equally. So the ideal is to know how they were created, to know how to deal with them. Digital PDFs are easy to translate accurately. Hybrid PDFs will need an OCR for translation. Scanned PDFs will require OCR and may have errors or may require pre-processing, and we will learn how to do that. And a tip I want to give you to identify those types is what I did before. Try to select the text or to edit the PDF in Acrobat, so you will know what type of PDF you are dealing with. As I said, depending on the origin, you may have different challenges. So always pay attention to that before uploading the file. A tip I want to give you, always ask or try to ask for or get the source file for better translation. So if you know that the PDF was created in Word, try to get the Word document. If it was a PowerPoint, try to get the PowerPoint. If it was an InDesign file, try to get the InDesign, the IDML file. And now we will see what happens with Canva as well, because it is really important to have the source file to avoid potential issues afterwards. Here you have a summary of the different origins, types, and challenges they may present. This is very, very easy to learn, easy to see for you to remember afterwards. Remember that clean input is essential for clean output. Yeah, do not forget that. So, to move on. What is OCR and why it matters? I have mentioned OCR several times now, but what is it? OCR stands for Optical Character Recognition. It is the process of turning images of text into editable content. Because we are not talking about letters, sometimes we are talking about images of letters. So we need the OCR to convert those image-based text into editable characters, that is letters, yes? However, it is important to know that OCR is as good as the scan. If we have blurry, handwritten, or distorted text, that will definitely reduce accuracy. Remember that we have to pay attention to the original document, the document we are dealing with. So when we have really complex PDFs, like scanned or flattened, we should talk about, or it is advisable to talk about pre-processing those documents. If you don't get the original, the source document, it is important for you to, if possible, to pre-process those PDFs. Because not every PDF is clean and digital, yeah? And all those files that are flattened, scanned, or created in a way that makes OCR more difficult will often result in OCR errors, misspelled words, missing characters, broken layout. So it will demand more work afterwards. So I suggest you think of this as cleaning a window before trying to look through it. The clearer your file is, the more accurate your translation will be. Pre-processing means improving the visual and structural clarity of a document, yeah, before OCR kicks in. So that may involve straightening scans, boosting contrast, removing unnecessary elements like watermarks, stamps, signatures, for example. And all those small steps will really have a big impact in your translation. Remember, clean input, clean OCR, better translation quality. And well, maybe you are wondering, how can I pre-process PDFs? We will have a look at certain clear tips to do that. First of all, if you're talking about scanned documents, try to scan the documents at a high definition, 300 dpi or higher. Avoid handwritten or decorative fonts. Yeah. Use high contrast. Ensure scans are straight and they are not cropped. Remove shadows. Yeah. If possible, for confidentiality issues, you may also ask an LLM like ChatGPT to improve readability. They usually work pretty well at doing that. But now let's move and go a little deeper on this and talk about some tools that can significantly improve your translation results. And something very interesting about this is that if you have those tools, you can use them to pre-process your files. If you don't have those tools, we have Pairaphrase that has Adobe Acrobat Pro functionalities integrated, and that will soon have some others we will talk about later. So Acrobat Pro and Adobe Fine Reader are excellent for pre-processing documents before they even reach Pairaphrase sometimes, or once you have already used the app. And I will show you two options. One of them is with this Adobe Fine Reader I mentioned, which is really good when you have very, very bad PDFs and you need to prepare them for better results. This is the way it works. Here I am using the OCR editor. I am entering a document that is clearly a scanned document. It is the one I showed you before. And I will pre-process this document to clean it as much as possible. This is the pre-recognition of the document. But now I can ask the program to edit the image so as to improve it. We can deskew the page, we can straighten lines, we can correct trapezoid distortion, we can clean the resolution, the brightness, the contrast, remove signatures, and then we can save that document as a Word document to then be processed in Pairaphrase. This is a really good way to prepare your scanned documents before processing them in Pairaphrase. But then I also wanted to show you that in Pairaphrase you can also download the post-OCR file. If you have translated a PDF, you can go to the download button and download the post-OCR file. That means that you will download a Word document in the original language with the formatting that resulted from the OCR working in Pairaphrase. That would allow you to prepare as well as that document. Maybe you can reduce the font, you can remove things that are not good, correct spelling mistakes, or whatever you need to make that document a little better. And then once you have the Word document already prepared, you can again translate it in Pairaphrase. Yeah. Don't worry about consuming words. I promise you will not run out of words if you do this. This is something that sometimes worries our users. So, remember, cleaner documents improve Pairaphrase results. So it is very, very important for you to have in mind that the cleaner the file, the better the OCR, the more accurate your translation in Pairaphrase will be. Take into account that Acrobat Pro and Adobe Fine Reader are both the best engines or technologies right now available in the market to process scanned or flattened documents. Then we have this other possibility, Canva PDFs. Sometimes when you prepare content, you can use Canva. Many users choose Canva, and when you download the file, you will export PDFs as images, flattened PDFs. So remember that I showed you flattened PDFs cannot be edited. You will require an OCR. So for these files, I suggest, if you can, instead of downloading them as a PDF, try downloading them as PPTX, as PowerPoint files. That way, you will be able to process those files in Pairaphrase and you will have no issues. Yeah, that will be really, you will get really good results. And also, we will see how to use Pairaphrase features to improve results from Canva PDF documents. Now, let's talk a little about that. How Pairaphrase translates PDFs. Pairaphrase converts your PDFs into a Word document behind the scenes. If the text is live, I mean if it is digital, we skip the OCR. Yeah, so directly it reads the text because the text is text. Otherwise, if the text is image-based, an OCR will be applied. As I told you, it is one of the best OCRs in the market. In my opinion, it is the best. Then you can translate and post-edit that Word document, and after you're done, you download it as a Word document to your computer, or you can also save it as a PDF back in Google Drive. And Pairaphrase has recently incorporated two different processing modes: retain flowing text or retain page layout. These are the same modes Acrobat Pro offers to process files. If you go to your Pairaphrase user profile, you will find, I will show you where, you will find the options for you to select. You can choose retain flowing text or retain page layout. And what does that mean? If we talk about retain flowing text, this is best for digital text-based documents because it keeps text easy to edit and flowing naturally. Like the first document, the first digital document, the first hybrid document I showed you where you had text, it keeps text really flowing, as it says. So I suggest you use this when you have documents that are PDFs that are text-based, like Word, Google Docs, or even if you have a PDF that comes from an InDesign software, because the translation output will flow naturally. So you will not have many issues, or you will not have issues at all. Keep in mind that flowing text mode may not preserve the original visual layout as precisely as the next mode we are gonna see. But if your priority is to edit or reformat the translated content, this is the way to go. Otherwise, if you are focusing on the page layout, I will suggest you use the retain page layout mode. This is the best choice when you are dealing with design-heavy or complex PDFs, especially those that include charts, tables, diagrams, or any kind of structured formatting. Because when you choose this mode, Pairaphrase will focus on visually matching the original layout as closely as possible. So while the text may be harder to be edited afterwards because you will have probably text boxes or images, different fonts, you will have a better layout preservation. And I will show you two examples of the same document translated with the different ways. Let me go back here. Remember I showed you this document which was layered, and it is quite a complex document to translate. because the layout is quite specific. And I will show you how I could translate it with flowing text mode, and this was the result, flowing text mode. But look at what happened when I translated it with page layout mode. A huge difference, isn't it? Of course, some things will need to be edited because in Spanish has more characters and words than English. So here I have some layout issues due to text expansion. So what I can do here is simply select the text and reduce the font size to make it fit into the box. If I do this, voila. Really simple and fast. So let's move on. So this retain page layout is great to use when you have documents like reports, school forms, or data exports, when the layout matters more than the text itself. My suggestion, try both options with the same file to see which result best meets your needs. Because sometimes you will see that one option is better than the other, and you will see that by testing. Again, don't worry about consuming words. You will not run out of them. So, moving on. Post-translation checkup. Of course, OCR is smart, is good, but it's not perfect. So final human review is essential for catching errors that the software maybe couldn't anticipate, or surely couldn't anticipate. So it is very important to have a human eye at the very end to verify that there is no text missing, to check spacing, line breaks, double check names, very important, because sometimes an OCR might confuse number 1 with a lowercase l, yeah, or misspell proper nouns, etc. So it is very important to double check that whenever you are translating those difficult, complex PDFs. Then when we come to the final production, I think I missed one of my, sorry about this, but one of my, here, yes, I don't know why this moved here. It shouldn't be here. It wasn't before, but well, it happened. And I wanted to talk about this a little because text expansion is something that usually happens when we translate from, for example, English or German into Spanish, where you will have more text in the final translation, around 25 to 35% more characters and words. So this, of course, may break the layout, but as I showed you before, you can simply correct that by selecting the text and reducing the font. Yeah, most of the times that simple solution is the best, and you will gain hours of time. So again, sorry about this, but I didn't want you to lose that one. These tips are, for me, really, really important for you to remember. These are some practical strategies I use myself as a translator when I deal with this type of documents. Sometimes reducing the font, even a single point, can make a huge difference. Adjust line spacing or margins as well. Rephrase, sometimes we can rephrase content using shortened synonyms or a more concise phrasing. Always try to leverage translation memory and glossary features to ensure consistency. And another trick that I wanted to show you is to use ChatGPT as an assistant for you to reduce text if you need to. So, if you are in the file editor and you need to reduce the number of characters, you can simply ask ChatGPT to change the translation, or you can also ask ChatGPT here in the chatbot for another option or to reduce the number of characters or whatever you need. Also, and this is new maybe for many of you, we have included this AI sandbox where you can interact with different models, different LLMs, to ask them whatever you want. And maybe you need to reduce the number of characters in a document or to create a shorter version of your translation or anything like that to help you improve your layout in the PDF, and you can use also this tool. So I encourage you to make the most of those new features that Pairaphrase has added to its platform. Both PDF conversion modes and ChatGPT and other LLMs for you to use whenever you need them. So, in summary, very key for me, identify the PDF you're dealing with. Always check the type of PDF you're working with, because that way you will be able to anticipate the results, and you will be able to choose the best mode to process your file, or to decide if it is preferable to pre-process your file. Then, of course, check the final output, especially when translating scanned or flattened PDFs, since the OCR may sometimes fail. And finally, download as Word if you need, so you can make further adjustments if necessary, or you can also export back to PDF via Google Drive. Okay, so I'm really excited to let you know this, but very soon we will be launching these enhanced OCR features, a new advanced OCR engine integration. So you will be able to get higher accuracy for scanned PDFs and improved layout and better handling of various document types. Remember that you are never on your own. We are always here to help you whenever you need. You can ask me. I am Customer Success Manager here, and I am always available to help you with any issues, any difficulties you may encounter with your documents. And you also have video tutorials. We have prepared the knowledge base, which is key for you to quickly find the response to your questions, and of course the live chat and email support, which is really fast. So now, thank you very much for listening to me, and I will give the floor again to Candace to see if you have questions to ask.
Thanks, Flor, for the awesome presentation. I am so excited about the new feature that lets you choose between retaining flowing text and retaining page layout. And this feature came from feedback from users like you, so keep them coming. I'm also so excited about the Abby OCR coming. We are always listening, and we are always improving Pairaphrase. So we have a question here. Do you have a recommended software, Acrobat Pro versus Abby, for OCR with more complex characters like Chinese or Korean?
Yes, definitely Abby. Abby Fine Reader, definitely, yes.
Okay, that's glad we're getting it. And I believe that the Abby that we're adding is currently just in beta, so it's going to be the best.
Yes.
available. Yeah. Here's another question. What happens if my PDF has handwritten text?
Well, handwritten text is a challenge. Currently, there is no, I know in the market, there is no perfect software to deal with handwritten text. And the reason is that we all write in different ways. Remember that I told you that an OCR interprets or kind of guess what that picture, that image resembles. So this picture resembles an E, a letter E, or a letter A, or a letter P, and we all write in different forms. My P is different from Candace's P's, and etc. So that's why it is so difficult to deal with handwritten text. However, I've seen some advances in this field, so I'm confident that we may soon add those advances to Paraphrase as well.
Yeah, well, they'll never get my handwriting, so I know that for sure. All right, so is there anything I can do to improve the quality of my scanned PDF? You talked about pre-pairing,
Yeah,
pre-scanning.
well, what we do to improve the quality of your scanned PDF, what we saw about pre-processing our files, maybe the best I think is Abby Fine Reader, or even if you process them in Paraphrase and then download the post OCR and check if everything was okay or make any necessary adjustments. I think that's the best.
All right, awesome. Well, that is all the questions we have. So you must have covered it very well, Flor. Again, I just hope you've benefited from our time together. Please know we are always available to help you make the most of Paraphrase. I will invite you to check out our new video, The Right Way to Design JPEGs and PNGs for Easy Translation. It's on our YouTube page now, so you can scan that QR code or just head to our YouTube page. And, you know, anything that you think of that you didn't think of here, if you have additional questions, please send an email to florr@pairaphrase.com and she'll get back to you. And please visit our resources page at pairaphrase.com/resources and follow us on social media to get the latest news and information. And let us know if you have an idea for a new expert session. We'd love to hear it. So thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you.